bum. It's unreal, folks. It's seriously unbelievable. Somebody actually asked me today, they said, what do you do? Or actually, what do I do? Is what they were asking me, what do I do? Because the challenges of survival and getting by day to day are becoming more and more difficult to plan for, prepare for, to navigate. We've got businesses. It really is a crying shame, folks. Businesses recording record profits, which lead to record layoffs. Can you think about that? Record profits translate to record layoffs. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, Kevin in all caps, youtube.com/@Kevin247. Ignore the scammers and the spammers and the bots. I'm not trying to text you. I'm not trying to WhatsApp you. Connect with me on Patreon, link in the description. Join the network for access to more exclusive content, information that I can't necessarily share on this platform. It's censored. It's suppressed. It's going downhill. But regardless, we're here today and we're going to talk about what we can. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you for continuously checking back in, tuning back in, supporting, sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing, even though YouTube is deleting my subscribers without their consent. But yeah, folks, Monday, April 10th, 2023. A prediction I made yesterday, which was Sunday, the 9th, Easter Sunday, was that we would see more layoffs. But here we go, folks. They're preparing. The they are is, it varies, okay? But ultimately, they are preparing to empty bank accounts. This is an economic crisis, a critical point in time, a culmination leading up to this wipeout that I've been talking to you guys about for months now. And it's I hate to say I told you so, and this is not me trying to come off any kind of way, but if you follow along with the information that I bring you, we can go back through the videos. And if you guys would want me to do that, I can put that together and we can go back in time over the past few months and I can show you how we have led up to this point, the warning signs that were revealed, the information that I share with you on videos. And here we are, folks. McDonald's cuts the pay packages, closes offices alongside layoffs across the chain after telling their employees don't show up to work, don't come into the office, cancel all your in-person meetings, wait by the phone, wait by your computer, wait for an email, a text, a message, an alert, an indication, a push notification that you may or may not have a job anymore. I hope you're prepared for this. I hope the people out there who earned relatively high income levels, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in compensation packages and bonus structures and equity programs and stock options and all these other varieties of payment for their services that they negotiated up during the height of the pandemic for these companies to retain top talent as they push to try to capture as much revenue and profit as possible. Again, record profits, record layoffs. There is no honor amongst thieves. There's no loyalty anymore. And tenure means absolutely nothing. Nada. Google and Amazon encourage employees to resign voluntarily by offering one-year salary incentives. Different approach, interesting approach, but much like we discussed yesterday with eminent domain, what happens if you refuse their offer? Much like with eminent domain, the government offers you compensation, monetary, financial incentive for you to hand over your property to them If you refuse, they confiscate and you get no money. You can take it or leave it. Fighter jets flying overhead. Kind of hard to see them through these clouds. I tell you what, these clouds look like they just don't seem normal. But if you don't accept the offer, they confiscate. Okay, so what happens when Google and Amazon encourages employees to resign voluntarily, offering a 1-year salary incentive, and they decline? Do you then get fired and get nothing? No soup for you. I really, truly hope that these people didn't outspend their income. I hope they didn't take these high levels of income and spend it frivolously, thinking that it would never come to an end, only to be a furloughed, forced into retirement employee, previously making $200,000-$300,000 a year, and broke. Nothing to show for it. No savings, no backup, no safety net, no plan, no preparation. And again, if that is a likely scenario for many, and they fall into this category, this short straw that they've drawn, backed into a corner, what solution do you give them? What tips, ideas, and strategies do you give them? Do you tell them, grow your own food, raise chickens? I mean, how's that going to pay the bills? How's that going to pay the mortgage? How's it going to pay the car note on the new BMW 760, M760 that they bought? How's it going to pay for the yacht that they have and the lake house and the vacation, the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 vacations they take twice a year? How's it going to pay for the kids' college? How's it going to pay for new handbags for the wife, new red bottoms for the wife? How's it going to pay for elective surgeries and plastic surgery and anything and everything else out there? How's growing food and raising chickens a realistic plan, viable plan of survival when people are buried in debt, behind on bills, potentially facing repossession? Last I checked, you can't pay a mortgage company with chickens. You can't pay them with food. You can't pay them with eggs. Even though at some point in time, eggs may be more valuable than the dollar, but that's another video. ABC News makes layoffs personal, according to some staffers, after ABC News president Kim Godwin announced layoffs at the network last month. And a source believes that they're targeting people to figure out who's leaking, and the layoffs are a part of it. They're trying to make an example of them. Folks, this push, this narrative, this agenda, this plan, this strategy, they've prepared, but they also know that they have operatives working, much like we have our own, trying to prevent us from having access to the truth and the facts and what information we need to help us prepare. They have moles within their system that they need to eradicate, make an example of. Again, y'all need to watch the video I put up about the FedNow system, central bank digital currency, CBDC, Clayton Morris, redacted, Morris Invests, and USA Today's spin. USA Today, according to sources, is a progressive left-leaning media source, and they also have a fact-check site that cannot even be consistent with their own fact-checked. While also, USA Today media bias is in ways that moderately align with liberal, progressive, or left-wing thought and or policy agendas. Well, what better media outlet to try to fact check Clayton Morris and Morris Invests the redacted team's research and information provided about the future of CBDC and this FedNow program than USA Today. And man, I feel so sorry for the people who take that for face value and don't actually dig deeper to learn more, to understand more and better of what's really happening. Unfortunately, there will come a time where it's too late. Someone asked, will credit unions be forced to use CBDC? And honestly, in my opinion, the short answer is no, they won't. Because they won't exist. They won't exist. If they get what they want, there will be a central bank digital currency, regional banks, smaller banks, local banks, credit unions, these smaller financial services, they won't exist. Meanwhile, fast food chain Mickey D's offered some employees a chance to remain despite the headlines last week of them abruptly shutting down operations. But this is it, folks. This is what I had told you guys in previous videos before. I would have to go back and find these videos where I could share with you and timestamp it, the date, where I said that these companies were going to shift the balance and regain their upper hand and leverage and take it away from these employees that were taking advantage of these work from home opportunities and shorter work weeks and quality of life, quiet quitting. What was the other one? It was rage applying. The companies are taking over, folks. Record profits, record layoffs, and this is proof. Mickey D's offered some employees a chance to remain with reduced compensation. Reduced compensation packages and demotions that included changes to titles and benefits such as bonuses and equity grants, a massive restructuring plan. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've experienced costs rising continuously for the last few months. And the last thing that I would want to do is voluntarily accept a reduction in compensation, a reduction in pay. I mean, you want to talk about the effects of inflation. I guess the Fed would be very, very pleased to say that we've got inflation under control. Why? No, not because we've raised interest rates. No, that didn't work. But we got people to make less money. I think the Fed would be pleased with that. And I've said this before. And I know for a fact that at one point I stated that they were going to lay off, fire, terminate the higher overhead, the higher cost, the higher operating expenses, and then just bring in newer talent at a cheaper price. But this is a bit of a switch. I didn't see this curveball coming where they offer a reduction in compensation. They know they have people backed into a corner against the wall, painted into a corner, stuck between a rock and a hard place, panicking, worrying, fearing, scared, afraid. The amount of stress on these people, the anxiety that they feel on a regular basis, they can't even sleep at night. Bill collectors are probably already calling them now, but they know that they have to keep this job. They got to keep some form of cash flow coming in, even though it's negative cash flow. They got to have it. But again, this is going to have huge impacts and implications across the board because I don't know about you, but if you agreed to a reduced compensation, wouldn't you also agree to reduce workload? Now, granted, these companies are going to assume that you're going to continuously do the work that they assign to you and probably more and then some, while also earning less and spending more because of higher inflation and higher prices. It's going to come to a head. It's going to come to a head. We are going to hit a hard landing, or just a drastic drop where it's almost like this free fall where it never feels like it's going to stop. It's just this sickening feeling in your stomach where we enter into this deep, dark recession, depression of stagflation, a stagnant economy, and then chaos. Now, I'm not talking about fist fights in the streets and things like that, but I'm talking about economic chaos, corporate chaos, employment chaos, food shortages, insecurity, famine, poverty, chaos, homelessness, chaotic homelessness. They are slowly trying and preparing to empty the banks and empty the bank accounts. And these ones and zeros, these dollars, the money that they're after, that they're coming to get, it's going to be redistributed, a redistribution of wealth back into the hands of those who feel as though they rightfully deserve it and own it, and away from those who received any sort of boost, any sort of stimulus, any sort of aid in this process. The music has stopped, folks. The game of musical chairs is over. And for those who don't have a seat, it's going to be a tough road ahead.